9:09.
Funny.
Hello, everybody. Give us a moment while I get our technology up and running.
Hi. Welcome.
Welcome, everyone. I think that we're going live now, and I'm going to share this into our Star Tribes of Light while we wait for you beautiful souls to come join us, whether you're here in the morning or the evening, depending on where you're from. I am with the beautiful Lesley Dixon. Hello, Lesley.
Hi, Mary Catherine. Hi, everybody. So lovely to be here. Yes, it's nighttime here. 7 p or 7:07 now. It says on my computer. So yes, and we are in the same day. Often we're always ahead of time, but we're often a day ahead of, especially people in America. So, yeah.
I love it. I have just made that go live now in our Star Tribes of Light. So bear with me while all the sharing comes along. Thank you, Lesley. All the way from New Zealand. I really want to just give you a big warm welcome. And
thank you.
Hi, everybody else. If you don't know who I am, I'm Mary Catherine from Divine Expressions. This is the name of the podcast now. And
Yeah.
I'm with the beautiful Lesley Dixon, who is a sand artist, a sacred space holder, and visionary. She has a massive, beautiful, deep affinity with the magnetic sand and creates safe and sacred play while she works with it. She also does sacred rituals that are kind of linked into remembering the rising of the divine feminine energy in connection with the Southern Hemisphere. Do I have that right? I hope. The natural rhythms and the cycles. And her sand magic circles open up portals for us to access our own unique magic. Lesley, I wanted to give you a big warm welcome and thank you for being here with me this morning.
Thank you,
A couple of
Catherine.
minutes
That was a lovely big warm welcome. Thank you. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. I'm so happy to be here. So happy to be here. Yay. It's taken us a little while, hasn't it? But we've got here. This was before Lionsgate. We were talking about this, wasn't it? So
it was. It was a lovely lady. Her name is Laurel Davis. That is our mutual friend who was like, you need to get in contact with Lesley. She's magic. And finally, here we are. I've been dying to do this conversation and connection with you for a good while, like you said, well before Lionsgate.
Yeah.
Because I could feel and see and sense when you post up your photographs and share, and of course, just your picture looking at us like. I was like, I want to know this lady a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I want to just hand the space over to you, Lesley, if you're okay with me doing that. And maybe share a little bit about what we're going to talk about today, what you would like to share with us, a little bit about yourself, even.
Okay. Thank you. A little bit about myself. Imagine it. Well, I feel so blessed to be here in this space. Thank you. And I just love this world we live in, right? That we can just connect across the world like we can. And it's just that's magic, right? That's magic. But I totally believe in magic. And I bring forth magic, like I am magic, of course. I am magic. And I totally believe in dragons. And so that's where Laurel and I first connected, with the dragons, And I have a very special dragon I have 4 that walk with me, but Ernest, my peace dragon, who we have his photo that we'll show later, he's kind of this, well, not the reason why I started this, but he was only the 3rd piece that I drew in the sand, and then what happened from that piece, how that all or continues to be a story. Here I am, 4
Right.
years later talking about him, right? So, and something that is totally impermanent, right? Like it's therefore maybe I like to work an hour either side of the low tide. So that gives me 2 hours that I don't have to think about the water coming in. But outside of that, maximum 4 hours, maybe the whatever we create is there and then it's gone. So
Wow.
so from something that's such there for a moment and then it's gone, and then here we are 4 years later still talking about it. Isn't that magic?
It's the ultimate in non-attachment, actually. That's what I'm getting, like the ultimate, like a
Yeah, yeah,
creation, and then it's just letting the waters wash it away. Ooh,
yeah. I love working with this amazing artist in Canada, Laura Hollick, and she talks a lot about us connecting, as a visionary to our higher self and our future self, and how do we create then and bring it into now. And I
right.
really feel that I'd done that without realizing that I was already doing that, right? Because I'm totally creating eco art, right?
Yeah.
It's there's no harm done to anyone, and I'm really bringing forward this right relationship piece, which is super important to me. um you know thanking the land, and thanking the land that we're on right now, in the space and the directions, the elements, and then just being in that place of what else can we bring into that space, but the right relationship with the Southern Hemisphere, because for us, like my mum was English, so my heritage comes on her side from the Celtic pieces,
Right.
but of course that's all swapped over,
Hmm.
um, and and I'm just about to complete a year of doing a year of the 8 seasonal cycles. I've been doing solstices and equinoxes for a while, but I hadn't been doing the other ones. And so I'm just Beltane will be a year when I will have done it again, which is the end of October for us. And so, so that whole journey of that year of what that looks like and connecting with the land when that's what's actually happening instead of
Yeah.
people running around when Halloween when it's springtime, like it's so crazy, right? It's so against what's actually happening with the earth. Mm.
I think that's really key. Funny, I'm kind of realizing why this has been in my mind so much. It's because I'm meeting with you today about us all, no matter where we are on the earth, connecting into the harmony, which includes the seasons of the earth song. Like our earth song, our soul song is connected to earth song. That's when we're in harmony. That's when we are healthy, vibrant. And that's, I think, key. And we forget that because we're trying to catch up with other places like the Americas or the Europes, or if you're in Australia, that, or New Zealand. That makes so much sense, by the way.
Mm.
And you're really bringing that into the fore. Yeah, I like that.
Mm. Mm.
Earth
Well,
song.
funny you
I
say the four, like at the four, that's why this is behind me. I really believe that, we've totally been in this mother maiden mother crone piece, but I truly believe we've moved into a 4 cycle. And so that there's a mage medicine woman from when the women stop bleeding to maybe
right.
65, and then the crone comes in from 65 to the end of life, whatever that time is, because we're living much longer, aren't we? And I really believe that that's such a powerful time for women, and that really feels like, for me personally anyway, that bringing the mage, the medicine woman, back into the life cycle is massive, massive message.
Ooh, I've got a chill in my body when you're saying that. And the medicine woman, like I wanted, how does that reflect in your work? Let's say, how does that come through in your work for people?
Well, I've had lots of people talk to me about medicine woman and say, oh, is that right? Some say the wise woman, and there's enchantress. There's lots of different archetypes, but I keep going back to the medicine woman because for me, it feels like our knowledge of plants and the things around us. And I think that's the elemental energy that I bring, you know, that that piece that's around us all the time. Then that feels like the medicine to me. Then, you know, that everything that grows in our garden, even if it's a weed, is medicine for us, you know, because who says it's a weed, you know, like who's said that a dandelion's a weed? It's not a weed, is it? It's an amazing medicinal plant, but we've been grown up, oh, that's just a weed. Whereas if we look at the world, that everything around us is there to support us, right? That's a whole different way of looking at the world, and in an abundant place as opposed to a place of lack.
Wow. There's a word that you used as well with sand, and you called it the magnetic sand. And I know when I'm on the beach and when people, you know, when you put your hands in the sand and it's dribbling and rippling through, and just like the grains and the feel of it, the sensation of it. And of course, depending on the beach you're on, it's fine, it's coarse. What does that mean? Like that magnetic energy of the sand when you're working with it? How does that feel for you?
So our sand is actually magnetic, and I've actually got a little tray behind me, so I was obviously meant to show you.
I didn't know that. Wow.
It's actually magnetic. I work with children in the sand with magnets all the time. So yeah, so oh, I don't know if this is going to work holding it over my computer, but so this is a magnet inside of here, or a couple of magnets inside of here, and it all sticks like a kinner. Oh, you know what a kinner, like a sea anemone. Yeah, I can pull it apart. It's really cool pulling it apart. Actually, oh no, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah,
Is that because of like the volcanic activity, or it's just unique to where you're living?
So a lot of the beaches on the west coast of New Zealand have the black sand. Not all of them. So it is down the whole pretty much west coast of the North Island. From I don't think it goes as no, it's white at the top of the North Island. So sort of from where I live further down, and down to New Plymouth where the bump is. I know it's black there. I'm not sure if it is further down at Wellington, but so it used to be where the bay, Makautai Bay, where I create, and used to be a volcano. So yeah, so it's actually magnetic sand. So yeah, it's phenomenal. So
I'm really intrigued because I know there was a lady that's a friend of mine, Luna Norris. Hi, if you're watching. She works a lot with magnets, and how that heals, like with joints and arthritis. And she was always wearing the magnets around her knees, and I was like, does that mean then as well, because that's so magnetic, it's very powerful healing when you're standing on that type of sand? I'm just questioning that. I'm just wondering.
Oh no, totally. No, it is. And you know, one of the gifts I'm bringing through is to help clear the karma, especially for children, and doing that on the sand. And while they're creating whatever they're creating, because you know they're creating whatever that story is, and then it's able to be washed away. But a percentage of it doesn't even need to be even kind of like felt or whatever, because it's, you know, like the magnets that, as you're talking about that woman, the magnetism takes it away without it even needed to be thought of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just naturally happening then.
Yeah, so it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. And I always check in with people, you know, the next day, because often something, you know, like physical can have happened to them, because we're creating an expanded space, right? You know, that's what we're doing. We're creating an expanded space to grow, which is really exciting. And depending what your intention is in that space, you know, like you ask for it, it comes, baby. But yeah, but like a friend the other day, you know, he ended up with he actually ended up with a sore ankle, but I didn't realize he'd heard it before. But it actually, you know, if you took it in the big picture, it wasn't sore. All that standing in bare feet on the sand actually helped move that through, and the bruising came through really easily and shifted through, you know. So yeah.
Wow. Ooh, thank
Really.
you for sharing that. I really want to go and visit that now as well.
And then someone said to me that if you think of every single grain of sand is from a different rock, right? Or a different shell or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I work a lot with timelines. It's no wonder, is it? Because I'm working with timelines in the sand, like physically working with them all the time.
Wow, you're talking and I'm just getting chills and shivers. I'm just taking it in because I know whenever the last time I talked to you, I had major just being in your energy. So I'm just going to let that sink in. As we've been talking, I feel that magnetism actually pulling me down into the earth as well. And I never asked, for some people that mightn't know, what brought you to work with sand? Maybe you'd like to share that, like something short,
Yeah,
just so
sure.
people get the idea. Yeah.
Well, I always loved building sandcastles, and as a child, and with my own children. I have 3 grown-up children, and I'm actually a grandmother now, so which is exciting. But this journey actually happened after I left my husband. I'd been married for 28 years, and I just knew there was a bigger piece for me. I just knew. I couldn't explain it, but I just knew, and I was like, I've got at least another 30 years on this earth to be creating something amazing, and it's not working right now the way it is. So I left, which was a big thing to do, and anyway, what happened was I was drawn to my friend Elizabeth Harper, which is how Laurel and I know each other. She was doing a workshop in San Diego, and I thought, you know what, I can go to that because I can do whatever I want to now, right? And so I did. So I went to San Diego, and I left myself a spare day because I thought, I'll just see, there'll be, I'm going to meet all these cool people, and maybe somebody wants to go to the zoo or something with me. I don't know. Anyway, everyone came and went, and so I had the spare day. And so back then I didn't even own a laptop. And so I went on the computer in the hotel. So that was 2016. And saw that there was this sandcastle thing, and I could build a sandcastle. I was like, really? I can go and build a sandcastle with somebody? That is exciting. So I'd made friends with this local taxi guy, and so I contacted him, and he was like, yeah, sure, I can drop you off, Lesley, and just stay there till watch the sunset and everything, and I'll come back and get you. And I was like, okay. And so I went off for half a day to be with this guy, JT, and he showed me how to build it. And I just said, look, I want to know everything. I said, I'm an artist. I really want to understand what this is all about. And he was like, okay, so before you even start, where's the sun? Where's it going to be in 3 hours' time? What's behind what you're going to build? Because you can't move it, it's going to be in the picture otherwise. So think about that. And I was like, oh, this guy really gets me. Like, how exciting is this? So anyway, we built this awesome sandcastle, and all his co-workers were coming over to have a look what we were doing and going, oh my gosh, that's so cool. You're so lucky, da, da, da. Anyway, he said to me at the end, you should come back for a competition in San Diego. And I was like, really? Thinking, oh yeah, whatever. And he said, no, that's such a cool castle. Look how many people have stopped and said how amazing that is. He said, it's just 2 days, 70,000 people come. He said, you should come along. And so I came home, and I was like, you know what? Why not, right? I can do that. So I just went back to the States for a week. So yeah, and it's, I know, what is it, 10, 12 hours from New Zealand, and then another 3 hours from Los Angeles to San Diego. Anyway, and so I was going to be in a corporate team. This competition they had different levels, like master sculptors and corporate teams, and then people just coming and building their things. And this guy contacted me like 2 weeks before and said, Lesley, I can't come. You're going to have to be in my team. And I'm just like, what? I built one sandcastle. Oh my God. And so all those things came up, right? And then I was like, this is such an amazing opportunity. What if no one asks? Instead of going, what if somebody asked me? I was like, what if no one asks? What if no one asks and people just accept me, right? So I went in with that attitude, and yeah, I ended up being put in this team. I didn't actually end up being put in his team. I ended up in another team, the only women's team. This was in 2016 when the divine feminine energy was really coming in.
Yeah.
The only women's team out of 44 master sculptors. So 3 women, it was a team of 4, and there was 3 women in our team. There was only 2 other women in the whole group. And we brought through this divine feminine woman, goddess, with the words love and peace in front of it. And it was just like, wow.
Wow.
Just wow. So those big sculptures that you see, like twice as tall as a building, that's what we created. Like, it still blows my mind that I've been and done that. And they're the most wonderful people, sandcastle people, because they're fun and full of life, and they're out there doing what they love, and they're out in nature all the time, and they want to give back to the community, want to teach children or adults or whatever, like, oh my gosh, there's so much fun. So yes, so I learned all that, and I came home so full of it, and I was drawing all these pictures on the plane, trying to remember everything. It was so funny. This man asked me, I was flying to Phoenix next, and then to New Orleans actually, and he couldn't help but ask me. He said, "What are you drawing?" Because he said, "This is so fascinating." And I told him my whole story, and he was like, "Wow, that's incredible." And anyway, it was quite funny because you know how you meet people and then you say your names right at the end, not at the beginning, So we introduced ourselves to each other as we got off the plane. And then when I was gone into my hotel lobby, I heard my name called out, and he was there, the same guy. He took me out for dinner that night. It was so funny. So magic,
Beautiful.
right?
That's it. Just so much magic when I'm talking to you. And of course, like you said, people that build sandcastles, people maybe that work in sand, it's all that child. That's what we do as kids. We're coming back into that child creative energy, divine heart of the child, that innocence of like creating in that way. You can't get it wrong. You don't make a mess. You just do it again. Start from the start.
And I say that you can't do it wrong. There's no mistakes. And they just like look at me and they're like, really? Like, how can there be no mistakes, And but no, as far as I'm concerned, there's no mistakes. And when children come along, often it really pushes people's buttons because they just draw all over the place, and people are like, oh. And I go, who are we to say that they're not drawing the most perfect thing, like, who are we to say that's their creation? We just got to let it be. We've got to let it be. But yes, it pushes people's buttons.
That's so funny. It's so true. It's that thing that we have, like, I know something I've had to work through, Lesley, drawing in the lines, drawing within the lines, trying to like move out of that. Kids don't care, like you said, they just, oh, the freedom.
Yeah.
Which kind of feels like we're talking about codes right now as well. The play codes, the freedom codes, the expression codes. And you talked about the drawing, what you're drawing in the back seat of that place. Like, so how do those codes that you bring into the sand, how do they come about? Like, how does this work for you?
Well, it's a very good question. So when I came back to New Zealand, I started building castles, right? Because that's what I learned. And I was like, who wants to come and play with me, And so it was quite interesting. A lot of my family, not my kids, they were all living overseas, but a couple of my brothers came and different people, and it was really lovely. And, people would just say, I have not done this for such a long time, I can't remember when 2 hours disappeared so quickly, just all of that, and just being out in nature. And I mean, one friend brought her daughter who hardly said anything as a 15-year-old, but she made me the most beautiful, beautiful card with a little fairy swinging under a mushroom, and like, oh my heart, oh my gosh. So yeah, the sandcastles really spoke to people. But here in New Zealand, it's not like San Diego, where it's like super warm all the time. I mean, obviously we're in Auckland, we don't get snow. Further down the south you do. But I didn't want to get wet, because building sandcastles that way, you need a lot of water, so you get wet. So that's when I started looking into the drawing in the sand. And there's a few guys around the world who do it, but I couldn't find any woman other than there's a woman in Australia, and I'm pretty sure she's actually a Kiwi who does it. She only draws, well, that I've seen, mandalas. She just draws different mandalas for different people, different seasons, different things. Whereas I create anything and now hold these massive sacred spaces for ritual, which is rites of passage, which is really exciting and feels really key, Mary Catherine, you know, that place of, you know, like acknowledging a time in your life, right? Acknowledging a time in your life and how important that was, and that you've stepped through that, and but celebrating being that, whatever piece that is for you, you know. It's massive.
That rite of passage, like, ooh, I feel like there's a question there, or can you go a little deeper into what they look like for people and what they bring up, or what that entails?
Yeah, well, I did one for myself, from my maid into my mother, actually. So the death of my like wounded child, really. And I actually like buried myself in the sand, and my beautiful friends came and helped me, you know.
Wow.
And so, you know, loving all those parts of me, you know, but she didn't need to run my life anymore. And then my beautiful friends, you know, held this beautiful curtain, and then when I stepped through, put a beautiful cape around me and everything. That was really amazing. That was beautiful. Another friend's come to me. She as a death ceremony for her. There's a cave where on the beach where I am as well, where I work, and so we did all her piece in the cave for her, and for her it was reflection, being seen, you know, but being somebody to be able to hold space, you know, and she really, you know, created everything that happened, but she just needed the space and somebody to hold her in that, you know. She's a really powerful woman in business, and it was such an honor. I mean, powerful woman, but you know, she's pulling through that feminine business piece, which I think is so important as well, right? That we step into that space, and so it was a real honor doing that for her. And then I've done some pieces for children, and I actually just in the weekend did a 10-year-old. It was a 10-year-old birthday, and they were giving him a beautiful piece of Panamu greenstone as a birthday. So they asked if I would bless that, and then I saw that as a rites of passage piece. And so it wasn't actually on the sand. This was in their home. But he's a boy I spent a lot of time with, and just before I went in, I got the message to take my staff in, because my staff and my rakes are always in my car. My car someone actually said to me, one of the children said, your car really only fits 2 people, doesn't it? Because it's got rakes and my staff, and it's got buckets and spades and everything. But anyway, I made this scroll up for this boy and read all about different things, and talked about different times, you know, like the Mayan time, and what his kin was, and how many moons old he was, if, you know, 13 moons were in a year, and just talked about that, which was really beautiful. And then I gave him my staff, and I heard everyone go like that, because everyone knows how special that is. And I was a bit teary myself, but he's a wizard, right? And we've got to be prepared to hand these pieces on to these children who just know.
Wow. The goosebumps. I can feel everything that you're saying in my body as being so true. The rite of passage, we're in a 9-9 right now. It's a gateway. That thing of death. We've had a death happen in Europe. That's a quite prominent one yesterday. This thing of death and rebirth, the full moon on the Sunday. We're all going through rites of passage, I suppose, is what I want to say now. And maybe to anybody who's watching, as they're hearing you share what that might look like for you or for someone else, maybe we're in a time of acknowledging our own rites of passage as we're beginning something new again. You know, we're going into a winter season this time of where we are, and you're going into your summer season. What does that mean and look like for us all? I think you're bringing that forward for me, by the way. So I'm going to sit with this.
Yeah.
We're
Beautiful.
going to take a little breath. Thank you, Leslie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did an photo shoot with a friend who we actually just went to play for the day. Same thing, right? They had amazing costumes to go to a masquerade ball, and she was sharing them, and people were like, wow, they're amazing. And she said, oh, why don't I just have people around home and we can just try them on? But for me and my friend, we went through this whole massive deep process, of course, trying on these costumes. And I actually I ended up embodying the elementals.
Yeah.
So goddess of water and the mage, the medicine woman, the fire piece is still coming through for me, and the air piece, I'm a fairy queen, so I totally own that and embody that. So and then Hathor was the other. She was who brought me there, because they actually had a costume of Hathor, and I've always felt that Hathor is
of course, connected with the sun as well, isn't it? That energy. And just like I mentioned, the earth song is the elements, the seasons, everything, and you're just tapping into all of it there.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about your dragon, because that's what we have, that in connection, that dragon connection.
We do. Yes, I'd love to talk about Ernest, my dragon. Oh my gosh. So Ernest, my dragon. So well, he came in as the third thing I ever drew, and I was down at the beach. I had applied to be in this art group, and they were like, oh no, I don't think you really fit in. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. And there'd been a sand artist there before, so I didn't understand that. But anyway, as we know, we go through life. I don't understand what this is about, right? Anyway, so I was like, okay, how can I look at this with a different, fresh perspective? I'll just go and draw something in the sand and wish everyone luck. And anyway, and so like I said, it was only the third thing that I drew. The first thing was an earth with a big eagle on top, which has just come through again just recently, that higher perspective. Second thing was Isis with her wings, and the dragon was the third thing. And so back then I just looked for a silhouette of a dragon on the internet. That's how I found the picture first, and something that was symmetrical. And then I went down, and I didn't know what I was doing, but anyway, I drew this dragon, and then this man came up to me and said, oh my gosh, I've been watching you. He said, it's phenomenal. He said, I've been taking some video and I've got a drone. Can I take a photo and stuff? And I was like, sure, okay. And so then he made a video and everything for me, and that was Ernest, my sand dragon. And he'd had come to me in the sand before, about 3 months before, and I'd built him. And this is what he looks like in modeling clay. Oh, how can I
we get that?
Yeah, I've put a new light here so that you could see me better.
Well, I can kind of see him a little bit there. Yeah,
there he is. And so I built him like that, and then this was him flying, and and he's just flown since then. And that model actually got made into here he is, made out of titanium. Maybe I'll take some photos and we can put them with them. But this is made on a 3D printer, made out of titanium. So that just blows me away that you can have something from your imagination come through into the sand. I drew him. I made him into modeling clay just because I thought that was a good thing to do. And then there's people that I went to one Christmas. He worked at a 3D printing place, and I was just talking about what he did, and he said, oh my gosh, we would love to do one, because he said artists don't use measurements like people do, and so it's really good for them to figure things out when you do it as an artist. So So then they made this little Ernest out of titanium for me, like. So
And is
so
that
that's,
you showed me a photo. Was that the peace dragon photo? That's Ernest, or is that a
yeah, that's,
different one?
no, that is Ernest. That, yeah. Yeah. Oh,
I'm not able to get to share that on its own because I know we tried to create. Let me see, can I pull him up as we're talking about it?
yeah. Oh, there he was. There he is. Yeah.
Is that it?
So
That's
yeah,
him.
that's so if you follow the tail up and then go to the right, that's me. I don't know if you can see, there's a little kind of white dot right on the edge of his wing at the bottom. Just pretty much there, just under the cursor. And that's me.
Okay. Yeah. Barely make you out, I'd say. That was a huge piece then, that you created.
Well, yeah, I think it was 80 steps or something. I work in normally master numbers, like, so I normally like 88 steps, but I think because I was starting then, I think I had 80, and then so I walked in a line and marked the middle 40 and marked 20, and I don't really have a plan, you know. I have a piece of paper. I used to say if I can draw it on an A4 piece of paper, then I can draw it in the sand. That was my gauge.
Okay.
But now I actually can have a photo on my phone and I haven't even drawn it, and I can draw it like 80 meters big in the sand, which is pretty mind-blowing, right?
Wow. It really is. And I know that you have some of your work that, would you like me to pull up and share? Do you feel ready for that? Yeah?
Sure.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Please bear with me, everybody watching. I'm going to see, can I share the screen? It's done on a little video. So give me a second. Hold on. And Lesley, I know there's a couple of pieces that you have here.
That I want to talk about.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll get this to kind of sync right. Is that working? No, it's not pulled up. Is it working? It is working. Here we go.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, because I didn't have sound with it. So yeah, so here's one of my dragons. So I've drawn lots of dragons. So this is just one of them, but you can see the surfer there on the left, that's how big people are. This was a memorial piece for a friend, a neighbor here who passed away, and he actually had one of the angels from the Book of Kells on his as a tattoo on his arm. So this is one of the angels out of the Book of Kells. I've always had a real affinity for that. Yeah. So we had like 25 people or something came, and it was pretty amazing. Like this was quite early in the piece for me. That was a huge, that's me playing my flute, a huge piece to do, and then have all those people wanting to draw, and you're just like, hang on a minute, I just need 5 minutes to figure out where I am, but very special, very special.
Wow, look at that.
That's incredible.
Stunning.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And so when you said talking about fives before, I thought, oh my gosh, because this is the fives. I did a piece working with fives, and I believe when the fives are written backwards like that for children, they're light codes that they're bringing in, that it's not that it's round the wrong way, it's bollocks, and so I've done a lot of work with that, and so this is May each year, it's grown, and so this is the other way of doing the fives. My friend and I did a lot of work together for a while. We were told that we did this in Atlantean days, that we used to bring these things through. So this is a dragon's nest that we did together as well. So they're all dragons' eggs, and so sometimes I'll be doing some kind of meditation or something with somebody, and then I'll draw afterwards, and I'll just go, oh, I wonder what that is, and then it becomes apparent what it is and when it needs to be drawn. So I'm pretty sure we did this on the 7th of July actually. We drew this together, and yeah, I just put the crystal ball on it, and And I just love the rainbows, because who doesn't love rainbows, right? Yeah, and we were just looking at what births each time. So I don't have a big high one. This is at a different beach, but you have to climb up this big rock called Lion Rock. This is Piha Beach, to have a look. And I think it started getting dark, so we didn't.
Right.
That was that, and so we did. Yeah, lots of dragons. And I see I've done a lot of work with the two dragons together, either the feminine masculine or the two feminine, light feminine, dark feminine.
Yeah,
together.
To the intertwining, and of course for that, as I'm looking at that, it looks like the helix as well, like the DNA helix and the unity and the coming together. I really like that one. We stand together. Wow.
And then this piece was another dragon that we did, and this was in somebody's house, this window, and it's the beetle from the scarab beetle, but an Art Deco version of it that I was fascinated with. And then my friend, his birthday's the 16th of August, which is the harmonic conversion date, and so then we went and created this piece for him, and his kind of lineage goes back to the pyramid days. So as you'll see, there's a pyramid on the bottom, and then we drew the scarab beetle on the top, and then there was these crystals that he has that we put in the middle, which was really amazing.
Really beautiful.
So this was huge. This was huge. This was like 100 steps or something. And at the top was the piece we've been working on about Mars going from the wounded masculine to the I can't think what I'd call it. I can't think of the words right now, but moving it straight instead of being on an angle, and so then it's in alignment with Venus, and so that's what the top piece is. But there's this really interesting piece right now about the scarab and the Egyptian piece. It's coming up to 100 years since the tomb was open,
right.
And I've just read that just recently, and somebody else has spoken to me about it. So it's just like, wow, I need to know this. And they're saying that when the energy of when that tomb was open, that created this Art Deco, thing that happened, like that energy brought that creativity through. Like, that makes so much sense to me. Like, that just, hearing that just made so much sense to me. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Like a whole epoch of creativity.
Yeah. This is a piece a friend said to me. We were going to draw something. We were working on an octopus or something. And then she said, oh, I've had this dream. She said, I got given a necklace. This is what it looks like. And so I drew it. And then at the time, we didn't have a face for it. And then I just met this beautiful Maori woman who has this moko, the one under your lips is, it's for this one here for childbirth. And she's a midwife, and then she has a diamond up here, and it's galactic, birthing galactic children. So the next time I saw her, I said, look, I just drew this. And she just went into full channel, said it was Mata Ariki, which is our name for the Pleiades or the Seven Sisters, and went into full channel telling me that it was the guardian of the star children that I had. Yeah.
Wow, I'm getting chills.
So we've used, we've drawn him so this is him originally being drawn, and so this was interesting because he was drawn on the East Coast with my friend, and then we had a big event and drew him on the West Coast as well. This was just over Christmas time. I went around drawing these seahorses on the coast. So this is on the West Coast. This is in New Plymouth. So they have the black sand as well. And that's me playing my drum. So that gives you an idea how big they are. And I did 2 of them on each coast, and they were for the safety of our children. They were like protectors.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had no plan of putting the sacred geometry on it, but my friend that I was doing it with, I was staying with her at her house, and her sister woke up in the morning and said, oh, have you ever seen a seahorse with sacred geometry on it? And I went, no, but we can do that. I was like, oh my gosh. So that's the seed of life, right?
Yeah. And the spiral as well, like right beside it, you have that
Yeah.
spiral. It's beautiful.
Mm.
I'm just taking it in because I am getting shivers every time we're going to the next
Yeah.
the next page, the next piece of art. Oh, here's another.
Yeah, so this was, I've done the 14th of February, Valentine's Day each year is actually World Sound Healing Day. And so I've done a few pieces for that. And so this was one of the pieces that we did. And that was at the time like we were moving, you know, like the I can't think of the word. The poles, you know, the pole
The
piece. That was a
shifting.
couple of the shifting, yeah. And so it's not a clear photo, but that's a drawing of what that was. So a group of us came together to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that then to bring harmony during a pole shift? Like, is that part of what your work does as well? Is like if there's some energy moving through or coming out, and the work that you're bringing through would reflect an
Yeah, and I did a lot of
integration.
pieces. Yeah, I did a lot of pieces for the lungs there. I did a lot of work on the lungs. So we had just, when we were on the sand here, we got told we had gone back into lockdown. And a lot of stuff happened. Like when I was on the sand, I would hear, whereas I don't have the radio and I don't work in that frequency, but somebody always comes and tells me, right? And so this happened on this piece, and that piece where I drew three times bigger lungs for the earth, when I just felt that everything was just so heavy for people and people just needed to be able to take a deeper breath, and I really felt that really made a difference. This is
Oh,
an amazing piece. I call this the water sovereignty code of the new earth. This was drawn, this is the third time it was drawn, but the first time it was seen. It was drawn at a big event I did together on the East Coast with a group of people, but it went longer, and so we drew it just as the moon was coming up, a big full moon. Then we drew it on the 8th of the 8th, World Drumming Day. The morning was fine for the drumming. It rained in the afternoon, but my beautiful sand angels came and still were committed to putting this piece in. And then this man contacted me and said, I really love your work. I'm a drone operator. I'd love to, because I don't have my own drone, I'd love to take some photos for you. And so he came. He said, what? So it was like he was saying to me, what's your message? You know, what do you want? What do you want to share with the world? And I thought, well, it needs to be this piece because it hasn't been seen yet. And so, so 8 beautiful souls came and we created that. So that was a channel I did around you know, Dr. Emoto's water work, and how you know how you know, well, when, you know, 70-80% water, the earth is the same, and that, you know, that you can just have a glass of water and share kindness to it, share your heart, and then that can make a difference to the waters inside of you as well as the waters of the planet, you know, and that we can just make these shifts so easily if we're aware.
pure alchemy, exactly. Yeah. I really do believe in that. I love to work with water as well. Wow, that is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
That picture is beautiful as well with the sea.
Yeah, no, it's stunning. There was a second one. I think I only put one, and there's this giant. This is giant. Yeah, there is a second. Oh no, there he is. I did put him there. See him at the top?
Yeah,
See the giant at the top there? Like
this here.
he's yeah.
Oh God. Let me go back.
He's
This.
a giant head. Yeah. It's
Wow.
like, wow, that's cool. You know, I don't understand that piece yet, but you know, I'm working in that giant realm, right? So this was me. Another beautiful photographer just appeared and took these next couple of shots. I was drawing the biggest circle that I could draw myself freehand, 122 steps. So and then he happened to have a drone, and so he took the photo of me, and he's a wedding photographer, so a bride and groom actually lay in the center of that as well, which, like, perfect divine balance, right? It's
Rite of
amazing.
initiation. How beautiful. Oh,
And
wow.
some of my circles, we go to this place called the Tree Cathedral first. These have been the seasonal ones that we've been doing. And then we head out onto the sand. And I think this is a super magical photo, the next one. Yeah, so this was Lunasa. And so, yeah, we hang out in the trees and for about an hour, and then we head down to the sand. But, you know, just being in that place, expressing what we need to express, and then coming out comes. Look at that bubble in the center of that picture coming out of my wand.
That's like for me, I'm just instantly saw a horse or a unicorn. Or something else, dragon as well. Like there's a lot there.
I know. Well, for me, it's funny. For me, it's a unicorn. Other people, it's a horse. But you know, like it depends where you do it. But like I blew a unicorn bubble. Like
Blue unicorn.
how is that even possible? And it's so crazy because my friend had just said to me, "Here, give me your camera. I want to take some photos of you." And that was like the first photo she took of that unicorn bubble. Like, wild.
Look at it there. Wow. Look at your face. I love your face in this. You're like, ah.
Well, we were
looking at
dancing.
bubbles.
Yeah, we were dancing. We were doing that bum dance, you know, when you bump, you know. And so this was the creation that we actually created. So the beautiful basket, you know, a harvest basket and we all drew different fruits and vegetables and things. So
Beautiful.
here we are. This is in the Tree Cathedral, just so you could get a look. It's always covered with leaves. It's got massive old trees, ancient trees in there. So this is another World Sound Healing Day. This was the latest one, and my friend who was just in that photo, she lay in the center of this, and we were talking about the distortions of the infinity loops. You know how different, like the reverse symbol and all these different places are using it, but it's a distorted piece. And so she lay in the center, and we drew these around her. And she's a sound technician, so she's a total tuning fork. So she was just, man, it was so powerful. It was so powerful. Oh my God, it's incredible. Now, this beautiful goddess came because this lady was turning 70, and she's of Viking heritage. And I thought, what can I do for a birthday? And I thought, oh, we could draw a goddess in the sand. And I'd seen on this truck this Viking, and then I thought, oh, but there must be a woman. And then I found this picture of this woman, and so she came along as well. There was 7 of us. It took us 3 hours. That was a major.
Beautiful.
Isn't she beautiful? She's so beautiful.
I feel like I could hear her sing or talk to us.
Yeah. And so that same day, you know, when I always go down to the beach afterwards to the sea and give thanks, and then often they have these bubbles, but it's only a certain time of light that you get the rainbows in them. And so that's like fractals of me. And it's pretty amazing when you've been in this place of massive expansion, drawing these incredible things, and then you come back and see fractals of you in the tiniest bubbles in the ocean. Like, whoa.
Like your multi-dimensional aspect selves everywhere. That's incredible. Such a power stance as well.
Yeah. And then I put this one in too, because this just the middle piece, that greeny bluey piece, just stood out. And I just saw that as a dimensional door, which it turned out it was. Yeah. And so here's the Viking guy, because I actually met that guy driving the truck. He was at Muriwai one day at the beach. I was actually just talking to him tonight. So yeah, as well. So yeah, so I said, would you like to draw the guy? And he said, I would love to draw the guy. And so it was the first time I'd had more men than women on the sand. So that was really great to bring that in. And where that is, people paraglide. So that's what the paraglider is.
Yeah.
I channeled a piece of sacred geometry after I did a Lemurian activation, and yeah, and so this is it in the sand.
Lemurian.
It's around masculine support.
Leaving that one in, thank you. color of the sea is beautiful.
And this, I put the shot in because often the sky reflects it, and see the big line of cloud, you know, like I was working with those angles and often it's reflected in it. It's crazy. And then I just love this photo. That's me standing inside my shadow. Couple of me and my shadow. Like, talk about multi-dimensional self, right? It's so trippy to me, that photo, because you can see the shadow of my legs coming out, but I'm standing inside.
Here,
like the photo's taken in the shadow. Like,
this is like the portal yoni as well.
yeah,
Just seeing it, it's like into you. That's so cool.
And it's like there's three shadows of me, isn't there? So there's a standing up shadow, and then lying down shadow, and then another shadow. This was my birthday this year. So my birthday this year was the 666 portal, and 24th of June. And so my beautiful friend and I, we went away for my birthday for a weekend camping. And so this is at a place in Raglan, which is still on the west coast. And I drew this waka. And so this waka has a lot of meaning to me, for myself and my family. And so it represents my children and my grandson, but it also represents, to the left is the Matariki or Seven Sisters Palladians, because this was all that lineup. And then on the right is the stars of Orion. And the one in the paddle is Betelgeuse, because of course we see Orion the other way around to what you do. So Betelgeuse is always down the bottom for us. And then that 666 was when there was the alignment of all the planets. And so then there are all the planets at the top that you can see. And then I actually drew the sun down to the right as well. There's a big sun there, but you just can't see it in that photo. And while I was there, I drew the sun, and I looked down and I picked up a $1 coin, which is a gold coin, like on the sand. Like, it's crazy.
You mentioned the word waka, and I'm a bit ignorant. What does that mean?
Oh yeah, sure, like canoe. Yeah, so yeah, and it just, yeah, like a family holding place. It's very much a you know, because New Zealand, we're in the Pacific Island nest, I guess, and everyone came here by canoe, you know, so it's like my family waka, WAKA. All right, so this one, yeah, so this is the one I had lots to talk about, but can we go forward a couple of photos, please, to the window one? I just want to show the window one first, not that one, not that one. Not that one. What's the next one, I think? Oh no, one more. Oh no. Oh, was it not there? Just go one more, please, and just see it. No, okay, all right. Oh well. All right. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay, well, so what? Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is.
Oh, I got it.
Edit. Okay, so there was a photo of a window, looked like a dirty window with all these diamonds on it. I woke up in the morning, I was doing the sand magic piece, and you were asking how do I figure that out. Sometimes I don't know, like I'm doing a piece tomorrow and I don't know what I'm doing right now. But I woke up in the morning and found all these diamonds on my window here. Those diamonds on my window, and I don't know what that is. I don't even know how it could possibly be there. There's nothing stuck there. It wasn't steam. There wasn't material. There wasn't anything. Anyway, it just blew me away. Like, what kind of message? But out that window, I often see a star that talks to me. I can lie in my bed and just see the star that moves all around and has a conversation with me. And I was like, I feel like that's connected with that, whatever that is. And so I thought, well, I'm going to take that pattern onto the sand. And so if you just go back one, please, then you'll see the pattern in the sand. And so that's us drawing it at the top there. There was a man when I got to the beach who was already there, and he was drawing that creation, and he had a drone. So he said, look, I'll take a photo for you, you know. but that was really interesting what he was drawing. He hadn't been there for a long time. I'd never met him before, but he's like the top New Zealand sand artist. So that was really cool for me to meet him. And in the meantime, we were doing our piece at the back, and he said, well, I'll take some photos. And he said, I'll come and join you if you like. And I said, sure. But we were in full ritual, right? I didn't know that we were going to be going into this whole big place, but we did. And then other people came and joined us, and yeah, thank you. You can share it now. Move it on. And so, yeah, so we created this piece that, because there's the diamonds, you can see the diamonds in there. And in the end, they went right across and met. Somebody the next day sent me this crop circle with the diamonds in it. Yeah, so there we are with it complete. And each person who came along, because all these people came along, they created all these pieces. The diamond piece was holding it, and then the rest of it were people's creations. And normally I get to talk to people in those spaces and ask them what they've brought through, but that didn't happen. But it didn't need to, because it was whatever it was. It was pretty mind-blowing the whole time, and the energy. And I'd have people come and say, what are you doing? I actually had this man come and say to me, are you a white witch? I've never had anyone say that before, but I said, yes, I am. But look at this. This crop circle was like 3 days later. It's what that guy drew.
It is.
It's exactly what that guy drew.
It is. So there's all some big connection there, wasn't there? Wow.
Massive connection. Massive connection. Yeah. So, take a breath with that one.
Yeah. Chills.
So this was Lionsgate. So this was at Piha. My friend contacted me, and so we went and drew something. So the lion is in the center. I did the lion. The rest of it was his design, with the toroidal fields and the dragon eyes. And it was actually Lionsgate is actually my Mayan kin as well, 82. White self-existing wind. So I've got this massive year this year, starting with a 666 portal, and then now Lionsgate. So, and then we just did this lion 2 weeks ago. This friend of mine, South African, was keen to draw it, and then all these other beautiful souls came. There was only 4 of us actually, and he was 88 steps, so he was big. And then yeah, she just put this photo on the end, which is lovely. This is me on the East Coast after I'd drawn one of the seahorses. Actually, this is the other seahorse, but there wasn't anywhere to get an elevated view. But this is such a beautiful shot of me doing what I do.
Oh my God. I loved it. In your element.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, thank you to Eve as well for creating this slideshow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
Lesley. That was incredible. Wow, wow, wow. I'm going to invite everybody that's received that, actually, because there's a lot of coding, quickly to just maybe take a breath and let it sink, let it filter in. And we have some questions, if you're okay with me maybe reading out 1 or 2 questions, Lesley, in a bit as well. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And I didn't get to show your turtles. I would love to do
yes,
that.
turtles. Yeah, we did.
And I'd love to show the turtles, because I nearly started crying when you talked about turtles the time we had our first chat. And that's because, in September, on September 24th, Olive Lynch and we're hosting a Embrace the Love Within, and the sea turtle has been a huge influence, dragonfly and sea turtle, for us. I wonder, can I show them now? Would you be okay if I just popped them up?
Yeah, sure.
Because that sea turtle energy, for me personally, is just powerful. Look at you there. Is that showing? Can people see this?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. Yeah. I had been commissioned. I was really excited to build a like 3-meter sea turtle by this Kelly Tarleton's, which is this really famous sea aquarium place here in New Zealand. And I was getting this lady coming up from Christchurch to help me and everything. But with everything, happens, it didn't end up happening. But I was like, well, I haven't done all this research for no reason. And so locally with the local artists, because I am in a group now that I can go along and be part of. I can be part of it anytime, but I love to have community. I love to share. I love to share what I do, and so this particular day I did the turtles. So yeah, so beautiful. There's something about that when you can touch them, when you can feel them.
I feel like it's moving when I look at the photos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
There's
that's...
it.
Oop,
Yeah.
here we're back to us.
Oh, now we're here twice.
Double trouble.
What we are.
Thank you for that, Lesley. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm going to read out one or two of the questions. Let me see. We have one from Bernadette McDonough here. Hi, Bernadette. Welcome. She says, when you were talking, I can feel heat in my back. I feel my creative biz is trying to come back to what you recommend. I actually haven't been to the beach in years, so I'm tempted now after hearing you speak. Not so much a question as a statement. And then Kim says, how can we bring any of this nature and sand magic into our own day today? So thank you, Bernadette, for that comment. And yeah, go beach is amazing. So Kim is saying, how can we bring any of this nature and sand magic into our own day to day, especially for people that don't live so close to the beach?
That's a great question, Kim, and I love it that I've met Kim through this group, and we've had a Zoom together, which has been so beautiful. Made cacao together. It's so amazing, so amazing. I totally hear that, Kim, and there's been a pondering for me, to be honest, because I love what I do and I'd love everyone to do it, but not everyone has the sand, right? So what I have done with some people is when I've been going to create something, if you do near the sand and live internationally, people have gone and created at the same time or in the same day or whatever. And so I've had people in Canada creating at the same time. So so that's been cool that you can do it that way. But I think it's like a labyrinth. You can do like, because I draw a lot of labyrinths as well, and you can have them small that you can use them like your finger and make them a finger labyrinth. So I feel like you could do the same thing like as a drawing. I don't have an A4 drawing pad. Like if you've got an A4 drawing pad, get rid of that. Get an A3 because like there's not enough space. Even my A3 has pages and pages taped together because there's not enough space. And I really think, actually, I'll say this, I really think this is something that happens to us when we're young. We start to draw on an A4 page, and then especially if you're drawing wings on something, right, it doesn't fit. And so what do? We don't stick more pages on to make it bigger. We rub it out to try and fit it in, right? So it's just like us trying to fit it in, and then you've lost that exhale that was there when you first started creating, And so I mean, I've been at an event where I drew myself, but I started off with an A4 page, and then I just kept putting pages out. And my friend said, I wish I'd filmed you, because she said it was incredible watching you, because I was in total channel, and I just drew this woman like 1 meter high, but just stuck all these pages out, just kept putting paper where it needed to be, So so that's what you could do, actually. Maybe that's the message for you, Kim. You could do it like that. Start off with, a heart or something, and then just see where that expands,
Right. I love that. Oh, it sounds beautiful. And as you're talking, I'm also getting the vision of, the way the monks use rice and colored, they can color their rice, and they kind of form on page or paper or outside on the pavement, and they use flowers and twigs, and they make like mandala effect, really. But instead of sand, it's with what they have around them. We've all these tools, I suppose, and each has its own unique magic signature.
Definitely. And I mean, I've done them with leaves, which is really beautiful. And, you know, you can do them with petals, you know, flower petals, depending on the season. So you can definitely make them out in nature. And as you say, twigs, sticks, you know, all of that is all relevant. Or, you know, it's all creation. And I guess, and I haven't spoken into this actually. When I finish a sand piece, there's always sound. Sound is super important. That sound, it has a sound key. And whatever that is, it might just be people's voices speaking into it, or I tone, and I often do light language as well. And so that piece is important, but I always ask, what's our wish for that to go out around the world? You know, what's the wish of this creation? And in my mind, I see it all like when it all gets taken away, pixelating, you know, and then goes off in the ocean, then turning up somewhere else and someone walking along the beach and go, wow, look at that lion, you know, like that's what's in my life, in my world, that's what happens. And so, you know, like, I think, you know, like it's your intention as what you're wanting to bring through, or what you're wanting, you know, to gift the earth, you know, and so that kind of intention can still be there. Couldn't it come the same piece? You know, what's your wish for the world?
Oh God, I love that, because not only are you encoding into the sand physically, or you know, which is part of the earth, but then the water takes it, and the water's taking all of the code out to the whole waters of the world. It's so true when you say that. I could just see it. Wow.
No,
it's our, and you make sound, our soul sound, our soul song with earth song combined. That is the beauty of all. Oh, I just love that. Thank you. You mentioned you play the flute. I don't know if you want to do that today. Do you want to sound? Do you want to gift us with anything? I would love that, but I don't want to put you under any pressure or obligation either. You just let me know what's coming through.
Well, thank you. I can reach it. It's just here beside me. I've been practicing. Well, not practicing. I play from my heart is what I do. But I do love the song "Imagine" by John Lennon, and and today was the day that the song came out. I mean, I'm not going to play it now because I'm not that. But anyway, but today's the day it came out, and I just feel like that it's really an important message, and I really got this message, like for me, you know, and maybe it's for other people here, you know, that was a song that he created that, like, we still know, you know, the little children I work with, they know it, you know, like, you know, we can make that much of a difference. You know, what if that song's inside of us, that next imagined song? What if that, can we hold that? Are we ready for that? Can we, you know, I believe we can all do that.
Yeah, I believe so too. That's coming home, coming back home to us, and then coming home to the unity of our community. And and that's maybe all it takes. Is sometimes we need to, like you said, don't compress your drawing into the 1A4. It's like, how big can you expand that vision, that imagine of love? Yeah, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, I just really feel, because I've seen so many children started drawing, and then I go back, and this particularly when I was working in school, and then I'll go back and see them, and there's nothing on their paper, and I'd go, oh, I saw you drawing, where did it go? And they were like, oh no, it was done, it was whatever, you know. But I think it's because they lost that channel, because they started, they had it right, and then suddenly it didn't fit into the page, and whatever, you know, especially in regular school, you know, you can't draw out of the page, can you? Like you said before, drawing out the line, you know.
Keep in the box. And I feel like what you're doing is about breaking those constraints, breaking that conditioning that we have around creativity. I did say that. I felt that when I talked to you before. I'm getting a chill again because that's so important for us to tap into our own creativity. Yeah. Oh, you have it in your near your mouth. I'd love to receive.
Kono stonia kia. Ikuru stoche nene kiana ko ikuristano ikuruna kia tia kinona kia storo nene kana no ko no kastia chedesta. Inokurusto ikurunana kia no astia no kunune kia ne kia ono ka anone ekirista tuko anoka nene stia no ko turistena ka turista. Wow. Oh,
Name it. Trying to say thank you, but light language is coming out. Thank you. Wow. Oh. For me, I felt that transmission very much work on, it was asking me to surrender. Maybe that's what I need right now. So I want to thank you for that. I feel like some weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
And I can feel it working on my expression pathways as well, Lesley. Like I said, whenever I'm with you, I feel an opening of for me, and everybody's going to maybe have a different experience as they listen to you, as they experience you. But right now, whatever I'm working through, I can feel whatever you're doing with me is like unlocking so much creation energy and expression energy. So thank you.
No, it makes me so happy.
Nom, 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 nom. I'm going to eat you all up. And we're getting lots of thank yous from everybody watching as well. Hello, Ashleen. Welcome, my darling. She's saying the turtle energy is really strong right now. Amazing, Lesley Dixon. She is indeed. Joe, welcome. And Paula is here. Thank you, Paula. She's saying it's mind-blowing how you create in such a large scale with such precision. Incredible. Thank you, my lovely Lesley. Is there anything else for you to share? Or are we complete?
Well, we kind of are, but I just wanted to share this. When I was down at the beach today, the Viking guy was there, like, of course he was, and he gave me this, which is bloodstone, which is like, and it's like a dragon's tooth, right? He gave me a dragon's tooth down at the beach just before I came here. So like, how amazing is that? But I wanted to share my piece behind me, if we've got a moment to do that, because I feel like this is something when people are asking what can they do, that this is my currency. This is a giant coin. And so this is it's got the 4 season piece that I've been talking about. The maiden, mother, mage or medicine woman, and the crone. And then the seasons, like the tree seasons, and then I've put different constellations in that come in at different times, because of course, you know, Orion is big for me, but Orion is you know, only here half the year, and in the Northern Hemisphere the other half of the year. And so lots of other bits and pieces of magic in that. And then that's the diamonds, you know, that appeared on my window. So I did that just after. And then on the other side, so they made it like a giant coin. So there's my water sovereignty code, and then other little codes that I've brought through. And then, and it was, somebody said, isn't that interesting? You've put, it's not a, and no disrespect to the queen, of course, but like, it doesn't have a queen on the other side, you know, it doesn't have a head, you know, a dignitary's head on the other side of my coin. It has, you know, the water sovereignty code.
Freedom code.
So there's just something to play with, you know. I think, you know, what does your, and I've drawn a dragon coin before, you know, so what is your currency, you know, like what does your currency look like?
Oh my God, I love this, Lesley. Thank you for sharing that.
And I still don't know what I'm going to do with this, you know, like, this is what happens with me. I create, you know, I don't just create in the sand, I create all the time. And so I end up with all these creations around, and I know it's Val, isn't it, who paints lots of fairies. Like, I love seeing her beautiful fairies. It's Val, isn't it? Have I got that right? Yeah. And I just think, gosh, she must have books and books and books of paintings. But you know, like there's a time for them, you know, and I just go with same thing with the sand, go with what that channel is to create that at the time, and you know, it will become evident. But I think there's so much value for us as women to think about, what does our currency look like, you know, that we're not being told in a patriarchal way, right? what is
Right.
important to us. And so, you know, to me, it's the earth, it's the cycles. I've got the moons and the, you know, the moon cycles, you know, what's important to us. What kind of currency do we want to bring to the world?
What material is that made out of? Eve just asked that question. Is that paper material that you created the coin
It's
from?
just a light cardboard.
It's beautiful.
I got it from the art shop, and then I've painted it gold. You know, I've drawn it. I really love working with watercolor pencils. I don't know if you haven't, the Steedler, the ones that come in the red packets. But so you draw like you're coloring in. So there's that kind of little child piece about it. You color it in, and then you use a paintbrush, and then it turns it into a paint effect. And I really love working. I don't know. It just feeds that coloring in piece, but and yeah, which is nice. And you get an amazing effect, I think. I mean, I love to paint as well, but I really like working with the watercolor pencils.
Oh, I do too. It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm.
I might do something myself. I think I'm going to do exactly what you just showed us there. What's our currency? And create it for myself right now. Maybe that's my rite of passage. Thank you.
Yeah. Now I've got goosebumps. So yes, there you go.
Just play. Let me see. Oh, and Irina says this. She's looking at what you created, and she said that would make a perfect drum cover. She'd love an image of that. So maybe you send. We can post that up on the Star Tribes page, Irina, if you'd like to see a clearer picture of it. If Lesley would be okay with that.
I've actually got the water sovereignty code on my drum. I've actually painted it on my drum.
Well, there you go. Irina's obviously tapping into that. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining Divine Expressions with Mary Catherine. Thank you for joining me in this chat and sharing your essence, your codes, your story, and your magic. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been so beautiful being here. Thank you for this opportunity. And I just love it. I just know this is all, well, we're all international anyway, but, you know, spreading this out into such an international place, because it's much bigger than my sand magic. You know, as you say, it's about our creativity, right? And how big can our creativity be, and how can we move through these perceived, you know, limitations that we have, you know. And I really love how you, Mary Catherine, obviously give people permission to take up space, take up room in their creativity. Because when I see when I see your group, that's what I just see. I see people sharing paintings and pictures all the time. And the only other group that I'm in that I see that is Laura Hollick, and you know, it's a specific art group. So, you know, I really admire you and honor you for doing that, for holding that space for creative people. It's so important, so important.
Yeah. And we're all creative. We're just here to
We're all creative. That's right. And creative is a whole lot of different things. It's not just painting and drawing, it's sound, it's cooking, it's anything. It's we're creation all the time, right?
Aho. Or like a wolf. Aho. Thank you, Lesley, and thank you everybody for your amazing comments and interaction with us. I appreciate you all watching, and I will see you no doubt soon, my darling. Thank you. And thank you to Ernest, your dragon, and every other energy you brought through.
Bye.
I will say goodbye. And I'm also going to say, just in case anybody's in New Zealand or near you, I'm at Lesley Dixon, just to connect with you if they ever wanted to look at your sand magic or co-create in any way as well. Is that okay to kind of direct people?
Of course, yeah. Yeah, of course. So Sand Magic by Lesley is my Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye bye. Bye bye.